Hi, today we're here with Miss Penny Morton. So, could you tell us a little more about yourself?
Hi, so I am a project engineer at Cool Systems, and I previously studied product design engineering at university.
That's really cool. So, what exactly is like a project engineer and what you do?
Yeah, it's a very vague title. I also, when I started, was like, what does a project engineer do? And the reason it is a bit vague is because, to be honest, we do a little bit of everything. So essentially, we're kind of responsible for making sure that any engineering projects are going to plan. So it's a bit more on the management side, but then when you need an extra pair of hands, say in the workshop, or if someone's really struggling for something, then you can kind of jump in and help them and get them over the finish line. Yeah, you get so many different types of engineering, and yeah, product design engineering is a type that no one really hears of. Because it's combined with, so I did a bit of mechanical engineering, a tiny bit of electrical, and then a lot more of kind of design project-based challenges. And there's a lot. There's a lot to choose from. But then it makes it also hard because you're like, wait, you suddenly decide you want to do engineering, and then you're like, oh, what type of engineering? Now I need to decide this as well. You're like, I don't know what one I want to do.
I can relate. So, what was your favorite subject in school?
Oh, I think definitely maths was my favorite, just because I loved it. You always got like you were either right or wrong. Like I just really liked that. In English, I was like, oh, why did I not do well enough? So yeah, I think definitely maths, but then physics closely second, because I think physics was a weird one. I found it maybe hard to start with, but then I think once you grasp the concept of it, then it's just like maths, and it's actually a bit more fun as well, because it's maybe slightly more challenging in a weird way, and then it's kind of more real life examples. So yeah, maths and physics were definitely my favorite, but I loved my art as well, and it was kind of a weird combination. So yeah, I was kind of the only girl in my maths and physics class, but then I'd go to my art class and I would be able to kind of make builds, and I just loved that.
Oh, so that's super cool that you found project engineering, because from what you said, it's basically just a mix of those three.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Because for me as well, like I really like math and physics, and then I also really like English. And every time someone asks me to choose, I'm just like, well, both, like, all of them. You can't make me choose one of them in particular. So
yeah, and you shouldn't have to choose just one. And there's so many new courses and new things out there, and it's very rare that you're going to be doing just kind of one subject or one thing. Even if you went to just study just physics at university, you're going to be using other, like your English skills and other subjects that you've done at school. So yeah, it's best to kind of keep them all and still try hard in all of them, not just put all your eggs in one basket.
So I know a lot of high schoolers as well are, facing a similar issue of trying to figure out what exactly they want to do. So why did you end up finally choosing the STEM field out of everything else, apart from the fact that it combined like the three subjects you're most passionate about? How did you know that this was what you wanted to get into?
I think for me, obviously going online and reading descriptions and things like that, it's useful to help it narrow it down, but I'm a very experienced, need to see it in the flesh type of person to know if I'm going to like it or I'm not. For me, I would say if you can get any form of work experience, even if you're maybe half sure on if you want to do something, ask a friend's parent, ask a ask just anyone, and people will be really, really helpful to give you a little one-day work experience, and you'll learn so much from it if you like it, or if you can see yourself in that environment, whether you want to work in a lab, work in a hospital, work in an office, work at home like I do now. So it's a really good way, I think, to really make you think, okay, yeah, this is maybe what I want to do, or actually no, I do not see myself doing this, because it's a big decision, and you've got to decide quite young as well, I think, which is hard.
Yeah, no, but I think definitely, you might think you want to do one thing, and as soon as you go and try it out, you're just like, oh wait, this is not what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So I think you had mentioned that you've done quite a few international internships during your summers at university. So can you tell me a little more about like what you did and what it was like?
Yeah, so at university, we had like over 3 months off for summer. So I thought, right, what can I do in these 3 months? My second year, I went out to India and I was in Maharashtra. So I was volunteering with a kind of group there, and I was living in rural India, which was an amazing experience. Food, culture, like I absolutely loved it. But basically we were working in a rural village, kind of upskilling the farmers' financial literacy, and we also kind of improved the water supply there as well. So we were doing lots of different things. And then that was after that I came back and I realised that I can use my engineering degree for good and to actually help people, rather than maybe like designing pure fancy toothbrushes or, you know, something that I didn't really feel passionate about, for example. And then the third year I thought, okay, I need to get some engineering experience. So I went over to Turkey and I did a 3-month internship there, building and kind of making robotic beer taps, which was really fun. And then the next year I went to China and I did 3 months out in China, and I worked at like a large company called Mettler Toledo, and that was kind of more CAD, so on the computer, kind of design focused, and it was kind of robotic stuff again. So I would say that if you get an opportunity to do something, like even if it's something you're thinking, I don't know if I really like this that much, whatever, sometimes just doing it can make you realize that, oh, I actually really enjoyed working in a smaller company. So I felt like I was able to look back on my experience in Turkey and I appreciated it a lot more, and it made me realize, oh, I was actually really happy in that type of environment. So yeah, I've been so lucky, and I was able to do these internships through a company called ISD, which is like an international kind of organization, and I highly recommend doing anything in your summers, because it's through those experiences that I got my job, and that I'm a lot maybe more prepared for the world of work versus if I was just staying at home and working like in housekeeping, which is what I was doing before.
So I was just gonna ask you like how you found these internships and how you, because Turkey, India, China, like how did you find them?
Yeah, so I think I learned something totally different about myself in each one. I think in India, I learned really how important it is to be able to communicate in different cultures, and just how across the world people do everything so differently, and there's no right or wrong answer to that. So for example, in Britain, we're very like, you have to be on time, and it's like you need to do this, and I organized an event in India in the village, and it was raining and it was meant to start, and Vishal, he was like, no Penny, it's fine, they'll come, don't worry, it's because it's raining. Like, and it's like 2 hours later, like the whole village all turned up and everyone was there. So like, it's just understanding that in different cultures and different countries, like there's a different way of doing things, and you just need to adapt to that culture. And as soon as you adapt, like it's so nice. Like when I came back from India, I was like, oh, Britain is too quick. Like everyone, I was like, I like the pace of life in India better. It was more chill. So yeah, and then I think and definitely in Turkey and China, that was when I really learned the difference between working in a smaller company versus working in a big company, and kind of the different advantages and disadvantages to both of that. Because there are, like, in a bigger company, like you have much more, say, stricter hours, and there's a lot more kind of support in place and all of this stuff. But then in a smaller company, you'll probably find that you're working a lot more hours than you maybe need to be. But then if you're really enjoying it, then it's a, you know what I mean? It's a catch-22. So yeah, I learned I learned a lot about myself from each of those experiences.
That's really cool. All three like experiences sound really, really cool. You started DIY Women, like this whole thing. So can you tell me a little more about it?
Yeah, so kind of through a combination of my personal experiences and just my love for like making and building, but also empowering women, I was awarded by the UK government to start DIY Women, which is workshops to kind of equip and empower other women to really get building, get making, and then kind of in turn, hopefully that will really diversify the engineering, construction and trades workforce, which has an extremely low, engineering is like 11-12% women, but when you go into construction and trades, it's a lot less. It's like less than 5%. I mean, some trades it's less than 1%. So yeah, the kind of the goal, that's the main kind of mission and goal of DIY Women, but essentially it's to really get women to pick up a power tool and to really feel empowered around the home or to build and make. I'm going to be starting hopefully one of my first workshops in the next couple months, and then we'll see where that kind of takes me from there. But the really good thing about the Young Innovators project is I'm learning about how to become an entrepreneur as well. So I'm very engineer focused, and I'm very want to build, make and do these things, but there's a whole business side of running a business which I don't know and I've never learned before. So kind of in this year I'm learning how can you set up a company and how do you make money, because making money is a good thing. It means that you can employ people and you can create jobs, and it is very good for the economy. But yeah, that's kind of the whole aspect of DIY Women, so we'll see where it goes really.
That sounds really, really cool. Again, it's because I think me as well, if you think of people in construction, you don't think of women at all. I don't think I've ever seen a woman in construction.
I know, they do exist, but they're hard to find.
Because even at home, if there's a light not working, my dad will be the one who changes it. But then
exactly.
I think if my dad's traveling or something, then my mom can change it. It's just that it's always the male who does it for some reason. You barely see any females do anything, especially in construction.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And I think that's what it is. It's about empowering. It's about empowering your mum or yourself to be well, no, I can do it. I want to do it. And it's not everyone wants to change a light bulb, and that's totally fine. I'm not trying to make everyone change a light bulb, but I want to make sure that in that instance, everyone is equipped and they feel that they are capable to do it themselves. So in that instance, when you really need to do it yourself, you're not I can't do this, I don't know what to do. It's definitely, you'll find in households that the males will be naturally kind of taught how to do all those things around the house and around the home. At times they are very much changing totally, but I think that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to really kind of teach those skills to people who have a bit of an interest, and in turn they'll hopefully teach other people, as time goes by. So
that's really exciting. I will keep an eye out for it and see how it goes.
Yeah, let's hope it goes all to plan. I'm a bit stressed, to be honest, preparing for it all, but fingers crossed it'll go well.
I'm sure it'll go great. It sounds really cool. It sounds amazing. So, in your opinion, how can men be better allies for women in STEM?
Oh, this is a very good question.